We seldom overcomplicate things. Okay, now I will officially call the meeting to order. Thanks to each of you for being here. We have been we've not been live streaming for some time since we lost the person that was in that position to do that, and we're trying to get that back on track. So tonight we are recording. We're not live, but it will be aired at some later time after this. So we're back live, fellas. And we had a lot of fun while it wasn't. So.
For folks in the audience, this does pick up really well, but we will turn our mics toward you when someone else is speaking.
Are we getting gone to the midnight slot?
Yes. We're in 3 a.m. slot now. So we want to first, before we get into any business of the agenda, recognize the people that are in the room, and thank you guys so much for taking time out of an extremely busy schedule. That means a lot to us. Each commissioner here and our staff is just honored to have you in the room with us tonight. And I'm going to ask Christina to do the introductions of the individuals in the room tonight.
Well, those guys probably don't need any kind of introduction, but they're due that. We have with us Senator Brandon Storm, Representative Derek Lewis, and Representative Tom Smith. Great friends to London, Laurel County, and to the region in general. They're the guys who goes to Frankfurt, make sure that Eastern Kentucky and London, Laurel County get what's due to them. They helped us out last year with our Fairgrounds program, got us that $1 million, which was very useful. And then things happened. So we're going to go back to them this year and ask again for money to help us restore, improve, and make that vision that's on that board over there come to life. So we wanted to have them come by, give you guys a chance to ask them any questions that you may have, and give them a chance to speak to anything that they may want to say. And we're going to let Mr. Senator Storm speak first because he has a golf match to go to.
What about this guy here? He's been a friend to Eastern Kentucky for 30-some years.
It's hard for me to brag on him because he'd get mad at me. So you brag on him.
We got Mr. Bob Mitchell here. He used to be the chief of staff for Congressman Hal Rogers, and he's brought a lot of projects and a lot of money to Eastern Kentucky. I consider him a great friend.
Senator Storm.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, I'm going to not go to the golf match. I'm going to go to a Republican Party meeting here in a moment. So I'm going to share that. But my wife's going to go to the golf match. So I'm glad to be here with these gentlemen here. We work good together. We work with you all well. And I'm proud to see this rendition. I know when Chris came up to my office, and had the initial proposal. We looked at it, and the Senate side is a little bit different than the House. I'm not sure exactly how the House does their budget request. They can explain that, but the Senate requires like a packet, so you'll need to get me just a packet of estimates and kind of what each of those estimates would yield, and then kind of like what you all did the last time, you brought me the rendering, so anything you can have that would show kind of what the money would go toward, then that's kind of what the Senate needs. And then what will happen is I'll populate the request, and then I think you get an email, and then you'll fill out, kind of the needs, why it's important. I think, Laurel County is situated on I-75, and, we're just what I hope to be as the mecca of this area. And I know these gentlemen work well with me, and the road projects, I think you've seen, it takes all of us working together to get those, and the infrastructure investment. That's kind of what we're all about. And so, but again, just get me that breakdown of the estimate, kind of what goes with what, all these renderings, what this building would entail, what would be inside it. I think there's going to be offices in there. I know that there's already outdoor archery set up out there. But just, that breakdown, and then that way I can have that and go lobby for it.
Thank you so much. Any question for Mr. Storm? Senator Storm.
When do you need these by?
I would say you all probably start.
We're already starting now, but it's open still.
Yeah.
Right.
So the House budget will come to us, and then I would say by December I would need it. Yeah.
And thank you, Senator Storm, for getting that with us last round. That was
absolutely.
It's really helped the project.
I hate it was destroyed in the tornado, but again, that's what we're all here to do, is try to help any way we can.
Representative Lewis?
Sure. So again, House is a little bit different. The budget originates in the House, and so we are taking up projects right now. I've turned a few in already. Ours is a little bit different. So we have a one-pager, of course, but similar to what Senator Storm was asking for, if you can send me project details, and probably the best way of handling it is whether me and Tom put it in, or some of the other Laurel County legislators put it in, or the senator puts it in. Either way, we try to fill in the gaps. And so there's about like a 3-phase process. More than that, but for simplicity, it gets originated in the House, we pass it to the Senate. The Senate sends it, makes changes and adds their items to it, sends it back to the House for concurrence, which means you agree. We never agree. So it goes back and forth. It goes to what's called a free conference committee, and that's where A&R leadership get around a table, and then we're negotiating from that point forward. And then you all providing that information to us allows us to make our case. Hey, we need this, and I think both of you would agree. The sentiment right now is we need help in our area, and lots of Kentuckians do, but us especially. I mean, we have been hit by the tornado. We've had the interstate shooting. Of course, we've had other turmoil, but aside from that, we need help, and the other legislators are aware of that. And so anything they can do to help us, they certainly will. You look at progress down the road. Brandon talked a little bit about the budget process, and if you look at the roads, everybody complains for a little while, but it's progress. It's progress. That's how we spin it anyway. But no, I guess the biggest thing is if you can get what you all need to us, we can handle it from there. It is a 60-day session, so very, very long session. I would anticipate, like Brandon said, definitely get it to us by December. I wouldn't imagine, and Tom, you can speak to this, I wouldn't imagine that we would probably introduce the budget until we'll go up there that first week, meet 4 days, and then we'll gavel out probably towards, I think we'll go back in, the end of January or so. There'll be a lull during that time, and so we probably will not release the budget until that time. We have before passed off the Senate, but either way, there will be plenty of time to discuss the budget and what projects to get in there. But yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you.
With when looking at our request, and as you can see, I mean, some of that, the larger facility, is kind of in the works and under construction. But should we focus on? Is there like certain areas that we should focus on to, as a more specific request, or items inside what we already have going? I mean, what would lend us the best proposal to you all that would, potentially have the most success of getting approved, or getting some money back?
Star, I found the ones that are the easiest is ones that got skin in the game, and which I will say this, that Laurel County and London is blessed with, you've had good leadership over the past on how you've structured these boards. You're accountable. That's another thing that checks off the box. What your request is got accountability to it, it's got merit to it. But if you have something that also shows a revenue stream, there's been some projects funded in the past. Just because the building's built doesn't mean it can maintain. And there's been a couple like that in eastern Kentucky that had difficulty staying open even after they was paid for it. So you've got the maintenance cost, and you've got those things. If you show that you've got a good business model, similar to what you've done when you opened your business, we can make money, I can pay my debt, and I can also maintain. Well, all we're there for is to help you reduce your debt. So it makes it more feasible. So if you have a $5 million project, I listened to the gentleman that came before the council. You know how they play the council meeting?
Chris.
Oh, Chris, okay, excellent. It was very good. The only thing, we're used to that. That's what we have committees for. Like you would have come before a committee, told us what the project was, how it was going to do, and very knowledgeable. It was really easy to understand. The $5 million loan is where I would have had a few questions on, because there were statements, well, we're not going to use it. We're just only going to use a part of it, then it's a line of credit. Those type of things is being specific, Star, on what you're going to do, what you need the money for, and what you have obligations to. Because you're talking to people that understand it when you come to Frankfurt. we may not be able to answer every question, but there is people there that can. And you're fortunate to have us. I know it sounds weird to tell you it's good to have 6 legislators that represent you, when the fight was to have 1 or 2. But honestly, it's good to have 6 because you're getting a pretty good coverage out of the 100 members, 80 in the House on the majority caucus. You got 6 voices there for you and a senator who's on the other chamber fighting for you. So I think it's us understanding what you're wanting, showing that it's feasible to do and it's got a long-term longevity. You know, Todd, anything that you do, you look at what 10 years looks like, 20 years, well, they do too. They look at those things in the budget. And right now, and I'll say this, with the strong leadership that we've had, and not only in the House but in the Senate, when I say leadership, our Speaker of the House and our leadership and the President of the Senate, Stivers in the Senate, we have had great budgets in the last 3 to 4, maybe 4 budgets. But we've carried over money. We've spent money, invested money, and still carried over money, and reduced your taxes by 2.5%. And that right there gave all your employees a raise, gave you a raise in your business. But it entices more people to come here by the tax being reduced, and it gives you an incentive to go after people and say, well, in Kentucky, we're reducing it. You know, we're not at 6, we're at 3.5. Where our goals, I know our goal is to get to 0, and hopefully we can. But we've got triggers there to say if we can or can't, because we still have obligations, we've got liabilities that we have to cover. But in saying all that, I hope it gave you a little bit of insight on what to prepare for. And think of yourself being on the other side of the table, controlling other people's money. What would it take to get your vote? Because you're taking it to free conference, and you have leadership in both chambers in there, and chairmen of the appropriations that are around the table, and they're divvying up the capital. They're divvying the money up. And so I'd say the strongest applications is those who put skin in the game, that's willing to participate by having money involved. Those who have the best plans that shows that there is a need for it and that there's a goal that we're going for, and also sustainability. I hope that makes sense, but that's the strong points on what they look for. If that answers some of it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, and thank you. And I think, you know, now with us here and you here, and we won't make this meeting go too long, but just for us to better understand where we are in that scenario. You know, the loan amount was kind of, wasn't as much us as it was the bank saying, based on your audits, your financial statements, your cash flow, your this, we can loan up to $5 million. So it really wasn't the ask as much as them saying we can do this. So we knew that we would never need that amount of money for what we were attempting to do. We felt like $2.5 million would be the amount of money that we could use and not empty our coffers. And even that $2.5 million, if elected to use that amount, would be paid back $500,000 a year plus interest to retire that in 5 years.
My point of it, and I'm sorry, but my point was you're dealing with the same thing when you go to Frankfurt. Your explanation is going to be whether you receive the funding or not. Does that make sense? Like when you explain what you're doing with the money and what you're needing. I was just using that example. That was what the confusion was a little bit, I believe, and what I was listening to. And I don't want to get into what's happening here, but I'll say this, and this is not the senator or Derek saying this, I'll say it, because it's not really politically correct to say, but what's been going on does harm you in up the road. It does harm because you have conversations, and those conversations need to be positive, and they don't need to have this a negative. I'm not saying here to criticize or I can fix anything. I'm just saying you've already have felt that, believe it or not, and not even known it, because it happens. So the positive that you can have the community behind the project, the more it helps these legislators be able to get the funding. I can tell you that. It does help.
See, like the $5 million, you know, it's been applied to to the residents in the city and everybody across the state that we just went up and borrowed $5 million, loaded up a suitcase and left. That was a line of credit.
Yeah.
And we've not even pulled down a portion of it yet. It's, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they act like we just drawed out $5 million, and that's not the case. I mean, we're very, from what I see here, I think we're very sustainable.
When I heard you say you was going to use part of it, I knew it was a line of credit.
Yeah.
But somebody that hadn't done banking or understood it, they was thinking you was getting $5 million, and you really didn't need it, but you was just getting it. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly right.
The only reason I use that as a point is that's the same thing you're going to be facing in Frankfurt when they're scrutinizing these projects on who's going to get funding and who's not. Is identifying your dollars and know exactly where they're going. Does that make sense, Todd? That's all I was saying.
It does.
I was going to say something too, following up with what Tom said and what Derek said, is dialogue, getting people engaged so that they understand what's going on. And so I think you said your all's is like a one-page synopsis. If you can put in that ROI like Tom's talking about to say, hey, we've booked this many hotels, we have these events and we're selling out, this, if you can pinpoint that kind of stuff, this is what the tourism revenue dollars show from the restaurants or, stuff like that. I know that helps because when you all had the outdoor archery tournament,
Yep.
I know every hotel, every Airbnb was booked. I know that I would almost guarantee that. I saw the traffic out there. I live out past that place. So I think if you can put that in your synopsis too, if you have any data, what the ROI on that facility generates, I think that's helpful. I just wanted to throw that out there. And you can also email that. I forgot.
I think something else to point out to you all is too, we're already operating stuff out there next to the fairgrounds. So we've already got a full crew under Ben there, which we'll have to have more people, but it's not like it's out there on the island by itself. Tourism's already all over the place out there. So this is just an added improvement out there that will help us. And we've already got crews out there that, right now they're being utilized at both places if they need to be. But, we will have to have some more employees, but it's not like it's sitting out there, nobody's attending to it, nobody's looking after it. We've already got Levi Jackson Park, we got the campground, we got all these things going on out there. So it's right in amongst all that. It's not out there by itself.
And I'm not saying you'd have to have the exact numbers, but your traffic counts and the economic impact. I mean, down the line, if you hire people, great, but when people are coming in, they're eating somewhere, they're buying gas, and then also for us, everything is looked at from a regional perspective these days. It's not just what helps London and what helps all surrounding counties as well, right? And so if you can tie that in as well as how that impacts us as a region, that helps us too.
And we have that pro forma, that business plan together that shows anticipated expenses on the project, also what rental's going to come in from that.
Sure.
But the ancillary expenses as an economic driver are really what we're promoting. As you guys know, the statistics that come in from tourism or through the Fine Arts Council, ag associations, all of those give us a number to go by. And as an economic driver, the numbers are substantial. That check, as you know, doesn't come back to us. They don't come to town and write a check back to us. They write it to the gas station, to the hotel, to the restaurant, to retail. Just one quick story at the State Fair where we were working the booth there. A gentleman came through and said, I've been to London one time, and I was sharing this with Glenn Williams. He got a kick out of it. He said, I pulled off the side there and I went to that little place beside the interstate. He said, they sell stuff and got a bunch of stuff. I said, Dog Patch? He said, yes, sir. He said, if you look on my nightstand, there is a hillbilly lint picker, belly button lint picker that I bought in London. And sorry to be so graphic about that, but it was like, that is what we're talking about as far as an economic driver. Hopefully he got some gas and ate something as well instead of that $2.98 gift that he bought. But Glenn and I got a kick. That is what it's about, is bringing people to this region, spend more money. We have a great grasp of that concept. There are metropolitan areas in Kentucky that we talk about that are large areas by population. If you dig deeper, and I know you guys are familiar with this, and I don't know how many people are, there are micropolitan areas as well. There are 17 micropolitan areas in Kentucky, of which London seems to be the largest by population. It's a cluster of counties, and we're the hub of that micropolitan area here. So that is another reason why we feel like this venture was best suited in this locale and we will be able to do something for the region, not just for our town, but something for our region based on what's going to happen here. We've dedicated a person, an individual, a very, very qualified individual, in Christina Souders, to be the Director of Fairgrounds Operations there, solely because we know, we believe, and we've done research. How many years, Star? I mean, how many years we've been working? 6, 7?
On this, it's, every bit of it.
Yeah, so we're trying to do our homework the best we can, and I really appreciate the input, and that makes us want to go to work harder to come to say, here is what we believe we're bringing to the community, here's how we're going to pay for it, here's the money. The negative talk in the community is impacting us, and we are all aware. We're all aware, and we really want to change the narrative of that, because those of us who love this community know that the majority of people in this town are incredibly good people with good vision and love this place and want to take it to a place it's never been before. That's where we are. I believe there are people in the council, wherever. I believe there are a lot of people all over the place that really share that. We just got to work a little better at making that our narrative instead of what it has been for some time. But we're on board with that, changing that conversation as quickly as we can. And if any help you have, suggestions, you throw them out to us. One of the best things that we've had going for us so far is Bob Mitchell's been hanging around with us a little bit, and that's probably the best thing we've had to change the narrative of this community, is having that man in our presence.
There you go. He's a little braver than some of us.
Thank you.
But to touch on what Phil said and what you were saying there too, Derek, when we looked at the revamp, I said we need to put the word we need to put the word regional in there. Mm-hmm. And it really does. I mean, the archery, which is brought in here by the county, which we've supported, been on our facility, is the biggest item tourism event that comes into this county, and it already spills over into Corbin. Goes up into Rock Castle. I mean, those rooms, campsites get sold out from there, and that was being put on a facility that was made for softball in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, with basically no revamps that had been done since it had been established. So I think, with the outlook now in a facility that's upgraded and able to handle those type of crowds, that, hopefully it won't only be Law County, it'll be, Whitley County will be able to do this, Clay County, we'll have an area that if not only they can't bring events to, or they can bring events to, that we can put on events big enough that will hopefully spill out into them, in the future. So,
listen, you don't have to sell me. You guys are the gold standard in this, so you do a great job. Laurel County does in London. It's and I agree with you. It's regional because there's a lot of workers from Knox County that comes here every day to work, and so I'm blessed to have the south end of Laurel and Knox that feeds into the Lily area. The campground feeds into your area. But I know these guys are, and I'm all in. Whatever we can do to help. You guys are easy. You need to be in some other meetings we're in that have a lot of challenges. But you guys are blessed, and this whole area is, to be honest with you. We've got a lot of good things going for us. And as Brandon pointed out, and Derek did on the roads, I know it does get irritating, but man, go drive down through there now, Star. We talked about it when it first started. He started calling me and said, "Can you get the mud out in front of the plate?" I said, "Let me work on it." But you look at it now, and I mean, you can see what they were doing. I get upset too, because I knew it was going on between malfunction and 75. Knew construction was going on. I'd still catch myself going through there and wait 30 minutes to get to the interstate, and all I had to do is go around the bypass. So, but anyway, I think it's all important. Transportation's important. But these guys right here are aces up there. They do a great job, and you're really blessed with a great senator. There's never been a time that we haven't had a question he's not answered for you. He's on top of it, and it helps us out with the work he does. And of course, you've been around Derek a long time. I'm kind of a newbie compared to him, but I do love projects. You're talking to the right guy here. I love to bring everything back we can get. I feel like it's our share. I need to get it.
Tom's our budget guy.
Yeah. I go after fun if I can.
we appreciate all the help for sure, coming in and speaking to us.
Is that all you need, guys?
Thank you.
No, this is-
Well, while you all are still here, Christina, do you want to give an update, because it's on our agenda, on what is currently happening and what will be happening?
Yeah, so we have had, there was a contract awarded to a logging company. They have actually completed the tree removal at the back of the property. They're now at the front of the property. The back of the property, we chose to just clear all the trees there. The front of the property, we're going to leave what trees we can, and probably the vision there will be to replant trees to kind of create that barrier and have it look like the wilderness area that you're entering when you come in.
And that is from the tornado damage.
That's from the tornado, yeah, from the tornado damage. We did last week complete the pouring of the concrete pad. That's there, it's curing, and we're excited to say that on Wednesday, the erection crew will arrive. So on Wednesday, we will start erecting that pavilion that you see there in the picture. We finally have gotten some bids to pour in to quote the other building that you see there. We're going to call that our event center. It's going to house concessions, kitchen, an event space, offices, a conference space. So we hope in the next 3 weeks to actually put that up for official bid again. We revamped our process a little bit, and it's helped. We've actually received one today, and we have promises for 2 more bids to come in, or quotes to come in this week, and then we'll go back and officially send that bid process out to get those. We should this week nail down officially our 2026 fair dates. That will be July the 21st through the 26th, working with Cooperative Extension Service, FFA, 4-H, the cattlemen's, and we'll secure that carnival for the 21st through the 26th, and then we'll start planning. We're going to work, Cooperative Extension has their Ag Fair Board, and that group has volunteered to help us out with all things agriculture related. As we plan those dates and get it lined out, we'll be asking for you guys to help us out. There's still a lot of other things that we need to plan and work on, and that'll take more than just me to get that done. On Friday, we will host our first event since the tornado. Union Commonwealth University will hold a regional archery meet out there. They're going to host about 300 to 400 archers out there. Ben and Stephen have been out there working, getting things cleaned up. They're going to come out and work on the lanes this week, and so that's really exciting to host our first event since the tornado. ASA Archery, which is the big meet that we have in the spring. Scott Parrott is going to be arriving here tomorrow evening. On Wednesday, we're going to go out tour the property, look at that area that goes across to Crooked Creek that was cleared, decide how many lanes were actually destroyed there, figure out where we can put those. We're going to go ahead and start that project so that in May of next year, they'll be back, everything will be ready to go for them. And that's about it. That's a lot. Questions?
What's the name of it? Is it just fairgrounds or what's?
That's the Wilderness Road Event Center. And the fair will be, what we talked, and we've talked about, when our legislators were here, we've talked about that regional outlook that we have, Southeastern Kentucky Fair. Everything that we do out there is going to have that regional outlook to it, so that it's not just for London, Laurel County, but it's for everybody in the region.
So the Laurel County Fair, if you win there, then those participants will go on to the state fair?
Yeah, so we'll do, anybody that's been to the state fair, we'll have all the livestock competitions, and then we're going to bring back the quilt show and photography and all of those things that we all grew up with and had. And so anybody who participates and wins sometimes you have to win, sometimes you can get first, second, or third, but all those people will qualify for the state fair, and that's what working with Cooperative Extension does. They have all those rules, and they'll help us, go through that paperwork. We'll do a blue book. Everybody remember the blue books? Can't wait to get that fair blue book. We'll have our own blue book this year. We'll do pageants. We have a whole list of events that we're trying to line up and start to get scheduled. And we'll update you each month as to what we've got scheduled so far.
Sounds good to me.
So it'll be the first time there's a fair since before COVID. Wow.
Bringing it back big, 5 nights right off the bat. Hopefully next year we'll go to 7.
Phil 1 and 11.
One day bigger than the state fair. It's all we're shooting for. So.
We'll get there. But yeah, 5 nights right off the bat, so that's pretty good.
Any other questions for the gentleman here tonight? Or once again, thank y'all very, very much for being here. The input's valuable, and the support's just overwhelming the need of it for us. We are in a precarious position with even that loan at the moment. We do not have to have it. We have enough income stream here to do what we need to do. It just felt good to have it to be able to rely on if needed. But that's the position with that one. That's the status of that is currently froze. So, to let you know.
Thank you all for having us.
Appreciate you all. Right, y'all do.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you want to do minutes and financials?
Before her. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll go ahead and move down the agenda. We're going to ask for motion to approve the minutes from last month, from August 18th.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Handy?
Yes.
Ms. McWhorter?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Carson?
Yes.
Ms. Royster?
Yes.
Same action for the approval of the financial report from last month. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the financial reports.
Second.
Mr. Handy?
Yes.
Ms. McWhorter?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
No.
Mr. Carson?
Yes.
Ms. Royster?
Yes. And thank you, Chris, for emailing me all my answers.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for the questions.
Who wants to introduce? We'll let Stephen introduce Julie.
So tonight, Miss Julie is here with KYM. She's helped us through the process of just everything to deal with the tornado. But the main topic tonight that she's going to kind of mention is going to be about treetop. I know on our agenda it says that she's with FEMA. She's technically with Kentucky Emergency Management. So,
Good evening.
Hi.
I'm really blown away by everything you guys have already achieved. It's very impressive, and I'm kind of excited that I might be around to experience your 11 days of hopefully I'm not still here. That would be terrible for me to still be here, but to get to enjoy some of that would be fantastic. Very, very briefly, this is a 30,000 foot view of some of the reimbursement processes for FEMA. We want to try and get you some funding back for everything that you've lost. Do you believe that the Treetop Adventure was uninsured, and it's something that you would like to maybe, I don't think we're a replace or a repair. I think you guys are looking at a different avenue for the Treetop Adventure. Am I right?
I think that would probably be the consensus.
yes.
Okay. I'd really like to try and move forward with that for you. We just need some documentation, which I have spoke to Stephen about quite extensively. We also understand this is a reimbursement program and have to spend it. I want to just divert onto your big plan over here. 5 structures were destroyed during the tornado. We would like to try and help some reimbursement on that. I am understanding now that you are not going to be rebuilding those structures that were destroyed. There are other plans. I'd like to point you to somebody else in KYM directly. He's the infrastructure recovery branch director, Brian Hembry. Stephen, I will send you his details and you can disperse. He will be able to speak to you more in depth about the structures, based on you not rebuilding them now and you guys have a more creative project, which I think you had half of this planned anyway. We've just added to it. So I don't want to speak too much onto that. He will know more information. But really it's just about a treetop adventure for me at this point, and how we get you moving forward with, again, repair or replacement.
So what would that process of rethinking that space look like, and what could be funded, so you can give them some ideas on?
So FEMA generally reimburse for rebuilding the way it was with no improvements. There are some alternative projects that we can do. So the first step is to get an estimate to either repair or replace what's existing. For everything that we've seen, repairing is not an option at this time, so it would be replaced. I'm going to throw out some numbers, very silly numbers. Let's say it cost $100 to repair or replace. Generally, you get maybe up to 75% of that, which is what we would fight for. You can then put that towards another project, but if your project is $200, you're only going to get the 75% of that, the $100, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then sooner we do that, the better.
My email to Stephen last week about, our payments, where that was from 2016, those documents are no longer, but we do have the invoices. If we have signed attestation from the company, is that sufficient?
Yeah, I think that will work.
Yeah.
I think there's an understanding that it'd been there for a while and the payment had gone through a long time ago.
Yeah.
And banking records of 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think we can work around that. I think we just need to do our due diligence to get as much information as we can. FEMA does like documentation. So if we can find plans, and again, any kind of payment invoices, and then what the cost is to remediate what was there.
Yeah, we have the invoices thanks to an old Gmail account. But and Stephen should be able to send those, and OVG may still have their records. They still may have that it marked paid. But I know they would at least be able to attest that we paid for that.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we should make sure we do our best.
Yeah.
Maybe checking out, is it AOL?
Yeah, Yahoo.
Yeah. Who's going back that far? I think we can make that work. Again, I think he's making a decision on that way forward.
And then Stephen had talked with the company, and they pitched him a couple of different ideas. One of the venues is a canopy walk.
Yeah, they have a canopy walk at their Virginia Beach location that is in the realm of treetop, but not just those that were physically able to do treetop can also do this canopy walk. They actually asked if a few of us would be interested in going down to visit it, as well as at that same Virginia Beach. They do have their version of treetop. Theirs was 11 course park. They have that canopy walk there, and they also just built a new, they call it the tower. It's just a big spiral, looks like a lighthouse, except you can actually see on the you can see everything from the inside. And if you walk all the way to the top and you're able, you can actually slide down through the tower all the way. So they've kind of OVG, the ones that built Treetop, have kind of mentioned these possible projects if we were interested in that. And the conversation me and Miss Julie had is the canopy walk does seem like something.
I think it would probably be the only ADA accessible treetop walkthrough in Kentucky, I think.
Yeah, so just.
That's pretty cool.
And then the problem, which you all know with treetop, has always been our expenses. So we've had to have multiple people working there, and that offset of personnel cost to what we've taken in has always doomed it from the beginning. With a canopy walk, where everyone could do it, all ages could walk through, then we wouldn't have to have as many people there. You could probably get by with 2 to 3 employees there, as opposed to times that Stephen had to have 5 to 7. So we would be looking at, making it more successful. You've got the office already there, the bathroom facilities already there, the parking already there, but you could provide something that they could take, grandparents could take their grandchildren to. It's not something that's just physically restrained to this certain thing. School groups could come, they could do the little information centers and actually take them through the trees. So I think it would appeal to more people and has a far better chance of being successful due to the reduced expenses as opposed to treetop was.
So you're saying to move it from where it is now?
It would still be right in that, treetop's kind of in that valley from the shelter, help me here, Stephen, shelter 2, from the museum, and then up to the 4-way. It's really like a 3-way, but so it's all in that little valley right there. So they would use that valley to actually put the canopy walk through. Because treetop right now, if you look at putting it back, it's going to be nothing but poles. There's no trees
See,
left.
my question is, with treetop, now that we're having to do it all over again, is that the best placement where it's at for it to be to attract its maximum potential? Because a lot of people come through the park, either the park or the fairgrounds is what I'm thinking, more on that main strip or closer to the campground, because you're actually out of sight, out of mind back around that corner, just to be honest with you. Now we've shut one lane of that road down. It goes up to those, those shelters. If you're not going up there to use those shelters for some reason, or going up to the museum, then you're actually not down in around that area.
That would be,
but
can
how,
it be in an alternate location?
So as long as we're not talking about North Laurel County or South Laurel County, and we're somewhere within the perimeter of the
Park
city,
property.
still park property, then that should be acceptable.
Yeah, I'm saying keep it on the property that we own there, but just maybe moving it somewhere else where it has a better visibility, people see it, and then even your workers, I mean, somebody at the camp store or somebody, that's actually there can help assist with the operations of it.
when the loggers come to that side, how much is going to be, how much is damaged that's not?
So right now, that treetop adventure, other than what's right on the front of the open areas,
Yeah.
none of that's really eligible to be taken down, and there will be some tree folks that get a little bit upset about you taking trees down,
Yeah.
just take them down. However, some of that treetop adventure is now constrained on what would be considered good trees, as others are toppled over, maybe those need to be remediated.
Yeah.
And so that might impact where you put the walkway, where you have viable trees to do that.
Is OVG going to come look at the space?
So right now, the process that we're at OPG is they're getting, it was 2 weeks, is what we gave them, correct?
Gave them a deadline.
Gave them a deadline of 2 weeks to kind of give Miss Julie what she was originally saying, the pricing, so we can kind of go from that step forward. Bauman was very big on, let's get this step done, because she needs that for documentation. Then let's regroup to figure out, are we come to a site visit, would some of us like to go visit one of their locations, see if we're even interested in that, or kind of that's where we're at right now. Waiting on the 2 weeks, basically.
They probably have a good YouTube of their Virginia Beach walk too, don't they?
Where it's new, they're getting a lot of their promotion out right now. I've seen, just because dealing with OBG, I've been kind of friends with some of the people in that space, and so that, they've sent me pictures and stuff. It's very easy.
Probably a TikTok.
What if you move it to the fairgrounds and you have all these big events at the fairgrounds? Would that not give you maximum exposure and a more potential for revenue to come in there?
I think it all comes to that valley.
Yeah.
There is a good valley there that you're elevated. If you.
Sorry.
All right.
I think it's great where it is. I think just because of the valleys and the adventures going through those trees.
Yeah.
But I'm not the boss there.
I do think we need better signs out there, kind of to direct people over towards that way.
And we may be able to actually bring closer to the main drag in front of the office,
Yeah.
shelter one, where you can actually see the walk, glimpses of the walkway
Yeah.
on the main drag through the middle of the park. I mean, obviously that would be, it's in the same valley, and that would give more visual and more attraction and more pretty much advertising like Condos will.
Yeah, I
This
agree.
walkway would definitely be more visible than the treetop itself.
Yeah.
I know that when I originally came through right after the tornado, I couldn't find the treetop looking, and I was stood right underneath it.
Yeah.
So that would definitely be more visible. Just want to touch on as well is that we have to make sure that we stay within procurement policies. I'm about to upload a whole bunch of documentation for you. They're just guidelines that people want you to stay within if they're going to have any hand in reimbursement. That would also include the treetop adventure. If they are one of only 2 companies, for example, in the country, then we might be able to sidetrack that, but generally they want bids for just about everything.
We would have to, regardless, we would have to bid it.
I think you could look at too, since nature's already cleared it, you know, it may be a good spot to work around that area with like rustic camping and, you know, make your sites that would kind of be worked underneath. I don't know how high it is, but, you know, you have a multiple use for the space and hopefully a return of income, you know, since it wouldn't be a whole lot of thing to put sites for tents and things like that.
Terry's ready to turn it into a Christmas walk.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm all in for Christmas.
Yeah.
I was going to ask how long this would be open during the season versus what we had before.
I would like to think that we would have it open almost the seasonal, almost like the store.
Okay.
At the campsite.
That was always the challenge with Treetop, was we had $30,000 a year in maintenance, new equipment, and training and inspections. Open 10 weeks, and we automatically had a $3,000 a week overhead that we were trying to figure out. So if we can open it up a longer period of time, that will, you know, even out and lower that weekly cost in the mind of the business. I know we don't have to make money out of it, but it's to be responsible makes more sense. That sounds wonderful. It sounds really, really good and something that more people can use. So excited to hear about the opportunity. In my mind, the numbers automatically go to, I don't know what the cost of Treetop, if you were guessing, is it $100,000?
The original cost?
Yeah.
The original cost was right at 500.
Yeah. It was 470.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Plus plus that's when it was state park property and we had to put in new.
This was not insured, right?
Correct. And so my question to you is, if it was $500,000, we're getting 75%, that's $375,000.
Whatever the math works out to be.
Okay, so that's what we would have towards something, and if it costs $800,000, you know, we have $425 to put into it from us. So just thinking, you know, ahead what that looks like. Could be some expense.
There's also a cost share, so 25% that's left over.
Yes.
That you believe that you're out of pocket. If we do the project right, Kentucky will actually eat 12% of that, so you'll be 13%.
Interesting. Okay, excellent. Because I would anticipate if what we had cost $500,000 back then, we're probably going to be considerably higher.
I'd say 750 days.
Okay, and that's what I thought. So 750 days. So we're going to be out 400, 12% of the 125. You know, so okay. Well,
It's a big help.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for the input.
And as the recovery on the fairgrounds, you know, while that was insured, you know, building back is, you know, costing much more, we assume. And so Christina will need to be speaking to the Ryan Hembry, is that?
So I will work out a time for us to get on the phone with Ryan Hembry. I think we just need a very clear plan of what it was that you were going to deal. Now you're not doing that, we're redoing here, and he'll just need a very clear picture on if we can provide assistance.
Gotcha.
So just a quick question, and not to get too deep. Today I picked up an invoice for over $18,000 from the utility company to retire the lines that we put into an area that, due to the change in what's happening and elevations, they basically had to pull it back out and we're starting all over again. So we paid for it once. We paid $84,000 for utilities across the board. Part of that's having to be redone, pool starting over, and that's literally a cost straight out of our budget. If there was any support for that, it would be wonderful.
Is it resolved the tornado?
Yes.
Okay. Is this at the fairground, you had the heat poles and the light poles going around?
No, so what happened, if you look at the smaller of the two buildings, the one that's perpendicular to the large building, on the other side of that and in that area, we had ran utilities down in there for
The older building.
to connect to the existing buildings. And so when the damage came and they started moving around all the debris and moving, they had to retire what was there, because now for us to recreate what was best to be there, We went from like 1180 elevation on the topography map to 1182, and we're 2 feet off. And our pad mounts were 2 feet lower than they needed to be, and they just ripped them out and ripped all the pipe out. $18,000+ to do that, and we will have another probably 30 to 40,000 to put that back in. And we're just sitting there like, this really wasn't our fault, so, and between you and God, you're only two options.
So as a rule of thumb is that it's reimbursement to replace, not improve. However, if the landscape's now changed, that might be something we can back on.
Well, we certainly need to dive into that and see what help we can find, and thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Anything else, Nick? Got it 6 o'clock.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for the information there. Let's move on to upcoming events.
We've got our first movie night at Town Center was canceled because of the weather. We've got 2 more coming up in October. We've got Wildcat, Harley Davidson, Bourbon and Bike Weekend. That concert this Friday. Of course, the World Chicken Festival. And then the 2 more movie nights and Pumpkin Park and Honey Bun Day and Boo on Main. So October is a lot for everyone, in addition to the events that happen at the Levi Campground.
So the Harley, that's this Friday?
This Friday.
Okay. What time does it start, John? 7?
7 o'clock.
Okay, and we've already had Christina's report for the Wilderness Road Event Center and parks.
All right, we've got a couple of roof replacements that's in the works. One of them was from a storm a month after the tornado. We had a tree fall on Bathhouse 2. If you're looking at the front of the building, it clipped the left side, put some holes through the roof, damaged the weatherhead, and tore the gutters off that side of the building. Chris has turned it in on our insurance and things. We do not have reimbursement on that one yet, correct, Chris?
We don't. We did receive our insurance claim, but without a breakdown. So I think it may be in there, but we will. There's the fencing for fairgrounds was not included in the documents we received prior to the check. So they said we could deposit that check. We just weren't signing any release. So they're going to provide all of that to us, hopefully this week. But at least we did get that partial funding. So.
This one's kind of temporary to keep the weather out. We're actually getting a little bit of water around that weatherhead coming into the building. And obviously we don't have no gutters on that side, so we're starting to get a little erosion against the building. I've got a quote from a company that's done multiple jobs for us. They're going under precision roofing now. That used to be barrier roofing. And the quote from them to take the entire roof off, put all new roof, and fix the gutters was $12,934.07.
On Bathhouse 1?
Bathhouse 2.
Bathhouse 2.
That's the middle bathhouse inside the campground.
So you do need a motion for that.
Yes, I will need a motion. And
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Handy?
Yes.
Ms. McWhorter?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Carson?
Yes.
Ms. Royster?
Yes.
The second roof is the clubhouse. When Stephen met with the insurance people, they came out and done a site visit at Levi. We were in the midst of cleanup and everything else, so Stephen took them around and showed them all of the properties. At the time, obviously we didn't feel like the clubhouse was anywhere near anything. We didn't see no visual damage. There wasn't no shingles blew off, no tabs missing that we seen or anything else. However, since that time, we have acquired about 8 leaks in that roof.
Oh, no.
We're starting to get water coming in around the fireplace. There's multiple stains starting to come in. Actually, in the middle of the ceiling of the meeting hall, you can see the stains coming. There's multiple leaks in the valleys. I'm not really sure what happened there. Chris, I got him the estimate with some pictures and they done some drone footage of it so he could send to our insurance company. But we do have a quote from them. I don't know if you all want to, obviously it's drastically higher, and that roof had been done how long ago? 4 or 5 years ago?
I think it was the year before you started, but it was definitely during COVID. I don't just know why. No way.
So can it be repaired or would it have to be replaced?
It'll have to be replaced. There's so many leaks in it, and he can't pinpoint exactly where they're coming, and he's been up in the attic space during it raining, and it's just, he says it's just coming in all different directions. So in order to fix it, he feels like that roof's going to have to come off. There's some drip edge that is missing from the initial installation when it was done 3 or 4 years ago, and that may be also contributing to some of our issues.
When would he do it, and how long would it take?
Oh, they probably have 14 employees. They could probably do it in a day.
Okay.
Easily do that.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be covered under the insurance for the storm that come through, or?
We haven't started it. We just got those images over the weekend.
Yeah.
So
You don't have a cost or nothing on it, cost
I do
estimate?
have the cost on it, and it's $22,353.
How much?
$22,353. It's quite a few more squares than what the bathhouse is.
Yeah.
What was the cop, 12, what was the back?
12,934.07. And if you would like to make a motion, and we can hold up on moving on it until we see what the insurance is going to do, if that's what you all would like to do. But
So
either
you've
way,
already
we've
checked
got
the insurance on the bathhouse too?
it will be covered. We just don't know if that was part of the check we received.
Yeah.
That's for the bathhouse.
Yeah.
This would be a whole. the
Yeah,
clubhouse
this,
would be a
we
new-
haven't even
you
started
have to
this
file a new
claim yet.
claim.
Yeah.
Right.
I would think that would be covered. under
It's so
any-
close, yeah.
Is
Well, I mean,
that through the Kentucky League of Cities?
Yeah.
And that's also on the city's policy, so it's,
And I mean, when you get thinking about it, at the time, I don't know why which it wasn't leaking, obviously, and there was no visual damage, but they had the tornado at 150, 60 mile an hour winds, and I mean, it went in the bottom down there, right by shelter 3 and 4. That's a pretty close proximity to the clubhouse, so it even though we didn't visually see anything, it makes sense of what's happening.
the same thing happened to my mom's. You know, she didn't have tornado damage, but now she has a roof leaking. And that's,
So
Yeah.
your ask is to approve the amount of money pending the outcome of the insurance?
Yes, on the clubhouse.
We have a motion for that?
I second. I would think
Mr. Handy?
Yes.
Ms. McWhorter?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Carson?
yes.
Ms. Royster?
yes.
All right, and then on some updates and some capital projects we got. The splash pad at Levi, we are still waiting on approval from the National Park Service on the grant that we got. So they're still working on that. As soon as we get approval on it, we'll definitely be able to move forward on that project. The Levi office relocation, I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. We'd like to look at some point moving Levi's office, where Stephen and Courtney's at, to a centralized location, which would be the campground store. It would be an addition onto it. We would handle the construction management of it in-house. So we would hire out what things that we need, and then we would handle what we can in-house, which we can handle we got licensed plumbing, electricians, heat and air, so we'd be able to bid shop that out and keep that project pretty low, just kind of keep it on your radar. Things coming up. I know it's on our weekly project.
At the campground store, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Any estimate of what that'll cost?
I do not at the time. We put it out for bid, and the bids came in very substantially higher than me and Phil and Star thought they should be, so we pulled them from the table. We feel like we could probably do it for half, so.
Okay.
And your storage needs.
So, we are running out of room. Obviously, we're buying all kinds of good stuff. No offense. We've got, over at the Red Barn on 4th Street, we have all of Chris's decor, his
Do not
tree,
blame me.
Chris's tree.
You like the decor.
We've got
Ben's equipment,
yeah, we've got the equipment, but we're just running out of room. I mean, obviously, right now we've got, I would say, at least $250,000 worth of equipment that needs to get out of the weather. We rotate it in and out of the shop, but it needs out of the weather. And we were looking at, in the future, a 40 by 100. I'd staked it out. I know Philip Rollins and Randy had kind of come over and looked because they had, as you all know, the council's kind of looking where to put public works, and they don't think that would interfere with nothing that they would be doing. But the structure just needs to be a pole barn. We don't need concrete floors. It can be gravel. Maybe just 2 sides would be all we'd need. Just something to get our equipment out of the weather.
Would that be good for like security to keep it all safe and?
If we're going to keep it that way, we would need to lock it down. It would need to have walls and doors.
Yeah.
If you want to do it that way. But I mean, right now we have, that entire facility is covered in security cameras, license plate. I've got one camera that if you pull down in there, it pulls your license plate numbers.
Okay.
So we've got a pretty good security system down there. There's an actual security system inside, plus video footage of every bit of that property. So if you walk on the property or if you pull in the driveway, we are notified and we do know you're there.
Okay.
One of the things I wanted to bring up while we're on the parks is the new pickleball court at Levi Jackson, about putting lights up there. Can you get an estimate on doing that?
I can. Would you like for me to get the quote both ways? Us having a contractor do it and do it all, or us doing it in-house?
I think we want to look at it both ways, yep.
Okay.
Also, while we're on some stuff here, been noticing downtown crews, it's watering and whatever, they're using the vehicle, it's got warning lights on it, but they're not turning it on. And that's a recipe for disaster. Somebody's going to get rear-ended there, and then we're going to be liable for it. I mean, they're pulling up, just squirting water out the window or the bed of the truck, and they've got a bar light on the truck, but they're not turning it on. And I've seen this multiple times. And it just takes an effort to turn it on. I guess it's on a switch or a cigarette lighter plug.
That truck has an electrical issue.
Is that what's the matter with it? I'll get the truck in the shop and see what's up.
We have to put one on permanently. I mean, you're supposed to have, by OSHA regulations, you're supposed to have these lights on these trucks.
I'll get in there and figure it out.
Also, Ben, I know we've discussed it, but can we get an estimate on bathrooms at Mill Street?
Yes. It would be my recommendation, if you want to keep the cost lower, to look at one of these small kits.
Yes. That's what you mentioned.
Yeah. That they can bring in.
And where would you be able to put it?
I think,
Go ahead, Amber.
I'm out there a lot. I think if you're looking at Mahan and the street that runs perpendicular to Mahan, or parallel to Mahan, there in the left corner. What do you think about that, Ben?
I don't know.
Like there by the shelter.
We would need to look and see where the sewer location is.
But yeah, that
That
too.
would
I
be
knew
our
that was
biggest factor.
yeah.
Would be sewer location.
I knew that was a factor.
But that's something I can look into.
I know we talked about it going around the other side of the shelter, but I don't want it to block parents from seeing the playground that we're going to redo out there for phase 2. So,
Yeah, we can definitely look at options.
but I know
and get some
parents would
prices.
really appreciate not porta potties out there.
We can do that.
I think the sewer line goes straight down the middle, right?
I'm not sure.
This past Wednesday, we met with the leadership team and basically put a freeze on expenses temporarily, so I appreciate Ben coming in with $4 million worth of new projects. I'm just kidding. We had the conversation. We do always need to know what's out in front of us. We also need to know what's happening to us currently. So we did, we've talked about what do we have to do? And that's where we're limiting ourselves right now, is what has to happen, the next step, until we get clarity on a couple of things. But thank you very much, Ben. I was at Mill Street Park today, and the graffiti on the shelters is horrible.
Yes.
I don't know what the answer is, but
I didn't see.
it's horrible. When you walk in the gate.
Inside?
First one, it's on the post, on the columns all the way around it. I mean, the square post, it's just, it's everything all over it. So I know you probably could paint it tomorrow, and it may be that way again by Saturday. I'm not sure what the answer is, but it's pretty rough.
I feel like with this new playground, we're pulling a little different crowd.
I noticed
And
that today.
I'm hoping with the improvements that we're going to keep making out there with the, which I talked to Amber about working over the shelters, and we've got to paint the splash pad this spring with epoxy paint to make the paint, pop again, and really work on our landscaping and benches and stuff, that with the different crowd that we can eliminate some of what the vandalism that's going on there.
Just something to look at, not a major complaint on my part, just something I noticed today while I was there. And also was mentioned to Chris, we have no sign there. There's no sign for the park that I'm aware of.
And there was a sign,
I don't know if there is one. I didn't see it today, and I thought maybe during some construction renovation of the parking lot or whatever, it might have got removed. But when you turn in, especially, there's nothing off Mill Street that says this is a park or here's where you park for that. So just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, we can get new signs.
I thought there was one there.
There used to be a sign there, yeah. 'Cause
I thought
I remember.
It was on the fence when you walk in.
When you all remember?
On the fence when you
It's-
get down in the parking area?
Yeah.
I'm talking about something up on the road that says,
Outside.
like, at
Yeah.
least, there, if you don't know where the parking lot is.
Oh, you'll go right by.
Yeah, you just pass. Just another thought. And again, but thank you very much for that. And
Signage. We can work on it.
that's really good stuff and exciting for the future.
While we're talking about parks, just real quick, have we heard about the wellness park? Or is he still going to paint over those courts for us?
That is still his plan.
Before the basketball tournament? Is that what
I
his
hadn't
plan
heard
was?
that. I hadn't heard that. Of course, we may run into the same situation we had last time. We painted them and didn't stay off of it too long. So when is that tournament?
Chicken festival.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't, that's Richard, right? Okay. Yeah, no, is that Richard? Is that, yeah, it's Richard, yeah. Can we look into that like quickly and see what his plan is, timeline, and we'll let you know.
See how long he actually needs, because we kind of, that's why he said they didn't want it last time.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if it's as needed. I know I've talked to Dr. King, Mr. King about it. But do we need ATM machine, one at least? I was there Saturday.
The on this is yes, we do. But
Yeah.
we would not want to put one in, hoping we would expand the kitchen first and then work it into the design then.
Okay, so wait.
Yes, I would definitely like it.
Because I was there Saturday, I didn't have cash, and it just makes it difficult on the vendors there if you don't have cash, so.
And if you would want to experiment with that, I have a contact that would help place something temporarily just to see if it's used.
Well, we've only got 6 more weeks, so.
Okay.
Is it good to do it, you think? I mean,
If it's going to be busy for the next 6 weeks and arts and eats at the market, whatever you've got going on.
October the 2nd, and then we do a pre-Thanksgiving and a pre-Christmas.
If it's helpful, we can experiment with somebody
I
else.
don't know, this is definitely not our most active time.
Gotcha. Okay.
We're trying.
All right.
And then,
We're just happy we finally got the pop machine working.
okay, I was gonna ask about
your
the
fans?
vending machine and the fan, yeah.
Lights. Talk about your fans, your new lights. Brag
We
on
talked about it Saturday.
I'm not gonna stomp on her.
I'm glad the vending machine, because that was next. I was gonna bring that up next, so.
Beat on them, don't beat on me.
No, I was just asking if it was working, so that's good.
Is the Honey Bun Day gonna be over here at the town center? Huh?
Town center.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion?
Thank you, Mr. King.
Thank you.
Did have one, I'm just going to throw this out, no conversation needed, but I had another person ask about a dog park at Levi. So, there you go.
New open land, right?
Bill, he acts like we're an ATM machine.
Not gonna get any money, you might as well ask for it.
We can ask, but I mean,
Right. Okay, moving on. Ben, did that complete your,
yes.
okay, conversation?
Thank you all.
So, moving to community center.
No action.
Okay.
Hosts a lot of things.
I've got something. I'm going next week to Kentucky League of Cities like I did last year. You all agreed to pay the expense on that, which I've not got reimbursed for yet, but anyway. I would
It's
like
under
to do
review.
that again this year. It's next week, and I think it's very important, especially now more than ever, that we go and try to understand some things and learn some things. They have stuff on tourism, special government entities, and different things throughout the 3 days. So I would ask that y'all cover my expenses and I'll cover the rest.
I don't know that that requires a vote, but
I just want to let y'all know. Full transparency.
turn in that receipt.
Okay. I'll turn this one
If
in.
it votes, and you vote no.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true. That's true. Any other discussion? We'll be going into
I
executive.
had one thing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up earlier on the financials. I noticed on our police events fee, we're budgeted $50,000. We're 3/4 of the way through that with a few more events to go. Would that just have to come from?
So our communication previously, and I have no idea how that's going to work moving forward, was here was the amount, and they knew the amount of events that we had between now and next June, and that was the amount. And we're shooting for that amount. We don't anticipate that going over that budget.
I know, I want to say last year for the Christmas alone was like around 12,000 or so just for that one night. And we still had the drone show. I mean, I know things could definitely change, so I won't harp on that whole thing too much. It just, reviewing that last invoice, I personally have some concern. Some of the fees and things on there. I know we discussed it before, and, I don't know how that's negotiated or whatever, and things could totally change going forward. We have no idea where that lies. But
it was
seems something we may want to look at.
Right, and we are aware of that line item. That line item was reduced from last year, by the way. It was 75,000. We only spent 37, so we lowered it to 50, and that was the target. So I don't want to. The process of that is they are understanding that they have X amount that they can have in billable hours to Tourism Commission for whatever events that is. If they pull all of that in the first 6 months, there is none left. We had the conversation with them so far has been, you understand what you have, and they chose to take a bulk of it earlier, but understanding that that is the budgeted line item for that, and I don't think we anticipate exceeding that. Now, we do have new leadership, and that's a new conversation, and we'll figure out how that plays out. But we do have our eyes on it as well, and thank you.
Let me say something here. Out of all the stuff that's on this budget, me personally speaking, that would be less concern than anything. If we have these major events, and we have all these people downtown, we have to have police. We have to have police protection, whatever. And my thoughts is, and I'm just one commissioner, whatever we have to pay out to be able to protect these people when they come to these events, then so be it. I mean, I understand it's in the budget, but we don't want an incident where somebody comes in and brings a gun or something and pulls it out in a crowd of people and us sitting there with no police.
I 100% agree with that, but what concerns me is we pay for, the director of City Works, any hours he was out there. We paid for the building inspector. And there's a lot of names, I don't know if they're all police or not.
I don't know how the breakdown is, but I do know that in other towns
I
and
have no
other
problem.
places, that
You can
other
look at the
people,
breakdown.
the same commissions and stuff like us pays for that. If they don't provide it. Over in Manchester, they had a festival there, and I was there one night, and I said, "Where's the police?" They said, "The mayor didn't authorize it, and we didn't have the money to pay for it." They're sitting there with nobody, and you're sitting there with thousands of people there, and something can go wrong. And then guess who it comes back on? It comes back on whoever's putting the event on, which is us. But I don't know who was there or how the breakdown is. I don't know if they submitted that. But my thoughts is, on that, we have to have police.
How are they making sure that they execute the safety the best way possible? Do you know
They're
that?
probably as good at the safety plan as anyone you'll ever
Okay.
see.
Yeah.
They do briefings, they do it all, they know where the points of entry is, where the most people comes in. I've seen some of their stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have an entire team dedicated to events for safety planning, so that's, they do a substantial amount of work leading up to every event, quite a bit. And also that, I was just clarifying with Chris, that line item in the budget can be amended at mid-year if we see that that's necessary, and you should so choose to do that. I think so much from this point on has to be what that relationship is going to be with current leadership. So that is a conversation to have.
Yes, things to change.
Something else, before we're off of financials, even though we already accepted the financial report, I mentioned to Chris, as one of my questions, much lower line item, $280 a month for Rangers Retreat from Spectrum, that we can probably cancel the cable on that we pay, and just
Like other utilities,
Yeah.
it just keeps going. So Stephen's going to have the
it's
discussion
high, I
with them
feel
of just
like,
keeping
for
the
internet and cable, yeah, $280 a month.
Yeah, if we got smart TVs and internet, then, that's what most places provide
Yeah.
now. You don't even have a cable, it's just
Fire
gives
stick.
you the access to YouTube
Yeah.
TV, whatever, you're on.
Any further conversation about anything?
Make a motion, we go in executive session.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, sorry.
And there's no-
Mr. Handy,
Yes.
Ms. McWhorter,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Carson,
Yes.
Mrs. Royster.
Yes.
Thanks, Fred.
Bye, Fred.
See you, Dr. King.
Bye, Dr. King.